to the stage.
Okay, Maika Monroe, who played Erica. Chloë Moretz, who played Frances. Isabelle Huppert, who played Greta.
So, Neil, I'd like to start the Q&A off. We'll get, obviously, questions from the audience, but to begin with, you've got an affinity, and this might be a stretch on my part because I'm a Midnight Madness programmer, but you seem to have an affinity for vampires, and I feel like there's something very vampiric about this movie in certain respects. And Isabelle, I'd love to hear from you too, if you agree, or there's just something about this woman who is sucking the life force, in a sense, through of these other younger women. Was that ever crossing your mind when writing the script?
Yeah, well, I didn't write the script. It was written by. I rewrote the script by Ray Wright. Yeah, who's a writer who lives in Los Angeles. No, I mean, what attracted me to the movie was it wasn't about vampires actually, and it wasn't about like demons, and it wasn't about like, you know, monsters who have lived 2,000 years and are buried under cold earth and all that sort of stuff. It was actually about, you know, somebody who is deeply, deeply insane and psychopathic who lives a normal life, you know? And that's really what drew me to the script.
How about the rest of the cast? What drew you to the material, your character?
What drew me to, well, she's a monster. That's enough. She's a real monster. Yeah.
And I'm always curious too. An acting friend once told me that they love, anytime they're acting, they always feel like they're learning. And Maika, Chloë, to work with Isabelle, what kind of lessons did you feel like maybe you learned working together on this film?
Well, when I read the script, I knew that Isabelle was potentially attached to be Greta, and I knew it was an opportunity that I couldn't really miss to be able to work with someone who, in my eyes, has always been such an inspiration to me. As a young woman coming up in my career, she taught me to be formidable and not be afraid to take chances and take risks in characters. So the opportunity to work opposite Isabelle was one that I would never have passed up. And yeah, it was a dream come true.
It's an actor that you look up to and respect so much, and in this job, getting the opportunity to work with someone like that is, yeah, a huge honor.
Yeah. Now, when you were speaking about how you were attracted to how the script had sort of grounded elements, one thing I've often heard is that, you know, cell phones have ruined horror movies because people can just call for help. But I really love how texting is terrifying in this movie. And so was that an element that you were played with a bit?
Well, that was in the original script actually. There were two sequences that were kind of, you know, the taking the phone, photographs and following around to make somebody frightened with. I mean, what was lovely about it, I thought, was that she gets this old Nokia, and I really miss Nokias. They were so simple, and they made phone calls, you know, and you know, it was very cleverly done by Ray Wright in the original script that I read, and the other one was the other really standout thing that attracted me was that double dream sequence, you know, when you. And it seems so familiar to me, you know, you have these kind of dreams and you wake up, did I dream that? And oh my God, no, I really did that. You know, generally alcoholic things, you know, but I knew that feeling, you know, and at certain points the story did reach these feelings that were quite familiar to me and quite terrifying, you know, and the thought of a handbag, you know, and a widow terrifying me was kind of also very attractive.
There's a question right here, yes.
Hi, it's not really a question, but I don't think I can eat gum ever again.
Okay, cannot eat gum ever again. Do we have questions? I love questions. It's a great compliment, I love questions. At the back there, is that a hand that's waving? I can't see. No. Right there, yes.
Hi. Well, you all did great. The movie's terrific. Isabelle, is that your first horror film?
My first horror movie?
Yes.
Yes, in a way. Yes.
Did you like the genre?
I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was very funny too. In a way.
I love your scene with Stephen Ray when you're dancing and can we just maybe do an anatomy of the scene? Like how did that sequence work and how it escalated, Neil and
Oh well, I suppose it's a scene where that was not in the original script already.
Oh.
You know, nor was the character that Stephen Ray played in the original script. But it was, it's. I mean, the point about a genre like this, and it's kind of the psychological thriller, isn't it? Really, I wouldn't call it quite horror, but it's a matter of seeing how grotesque you can put the situations, how much you could push them towards that level of grotesquerie that is so grotesque it's almost funny, you know. And it was thrilling to work with Isabelle and Stephen because I kind of wanted to do it like a dance, you know, like a ballet comic insane, you know, and shows that piece of Chopin, I think it is. And I mean, Isabelle made it, she made it generic to the scene because she wanted the music to hide the banging and pretend the dog was upstairs. And the idea of it being a dance of death and all that sort of stuff became fun. And I can't think of another actor like Stephen Ray or like Isabelle who could have delivered that kind of thing, you know, because you know, it had to be both grotesque and almost grotesquely comic at the same time.
Part of left? Yeah, fantastic. Do we have other questions? Yes, right here.
Would you still recommend if you find a bag on the subway?
Would you still recommend, maybe the cast can answer this question, would you return a bag that you found in the subway?
No. Most definitely not.
Isabelle?
No.
Yes, right over there. Yes, you.
Do you have any favorite stalker movies that inspired you for this?
Would any favorite stalker films that inspired you for the, or you were an influence on the film, perhaps?
Well, actually, stalker movies are generally about a guy, aren't they? You know, some deranged, you know, guy, computer nerd or something like that following. I mean, what I loved about this was there was an absolute logic to everything Greta did, you know, and it was, to me, I found it in a strange way moving, you know. I mean, I know people call her a monster, but I fully believe that if Frances, you know, had not found that handbag and had cooked, you know, her risotto, you know, every Friday, none of this would have happened, you know. It's only when she finds out that there's this level of awfulness beneath Greta that Greta herself feels the need to become awful, you know. I always felt that she never wanted it to reach that stage, you know, but when it did, she was very capable of executing whatever needed to be executed to keep her friend, her newfound friend.
Isabelle, do you have any thoughts on your character's motivations in that regard?
Well, I don't think she has any motivation. I mean, there is nothing to save her, actually. And this is precisely what I like about her, you know, nothing to justify this monstruosity, you know, in her. Yes, it can be, as we were doing the movie, Neil kept saying, you know, it could be out of loneliness and being a kind of ruthless person. I mean, everything's possible. I mean, it's not the reason why she does what she does, you know, but what was interesting was to exploring this very thin border between normality and abnormality, you know, and how you just cross that border. Well, hopefully very few people do it, you know. I hope so.
One question there. Yes?
Hi, she's for Chloë. I was just wondering, how did you feel filming the box in the elevator scenes? They look like really frightening.
The question's about filming the box.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm super claustrophobic. It was really bad. I remember we had like a full discussion about those scenes prior to where I ran through the elevator sequence, and I didn't even want to think about the box because I knew that would really put me into a bad place. But I will say that Isabelle was and incredible help on that because you had control over the lid. And she would keep her little fingers underneath, and she'd be like, as long as the fingers are there, Chloe, you know that it's okay. And I would like get underneath this box that was shut, and I would just see her little fingers, and I'm like, it's okay. So she really helped me.
She was a lot braver than I was because she really actually went in the box and had the lid over her, and I never had, you know. I'm even more claustrophobic than you are.
Yeah, you gave up on that one. You were like, no, thank you. I was like, yeah.
An associated question. The house and the set really was a big part of the movie for me. Did you have most of that in your head before you started, or did some of it come out organically as being the film?
Questions for the production design specifically regarding the house.
Yeah, the house. No, I mean, you know, we couldn't afford to shoot the whole movie in New York. Part of it was done in Ireland, some was done in Toronto, some was done in New York. But it's the reality of independent films, you know, really. But the house, to me, it was... there obviously had to be something European about. You mean you're talking about Greta's apartment now? Yeah. I mean, to me that was essential. It was like Hansel and Gretel's little cottage in the middle of a European wood, you know, and it had to have that feeling, you know. And I was lucky enough to find this location that had this little courtyard, and one could build a little carriage house, and you know, I mean, to me, it's. I mean, Greta herself could have been dropping little breadcrumbs around Brooklyn, you know, or little Smarties. What do you call them? M&Ms, you know. And Chloë could have been following them, you know. There was that element to the story, which is what attracted me as a director, you know, because it was an essentially European monster meeting an American innocent, you know.
We have time for one more question. Oh, right there.
I know, I love that dog. I mean, I wanted to get that dog, but you know, it's awful in a movie when animals are killed, isn't it? You're far more upset about the dog than you are about Chloë, aren't you? It's always the way. But I mean, if we had let that dog live, you would have been wondering where the dog is, you know, wouldn't you? Constantly. And psychopaths, people who get involved in killing human beings, they always practice on animals, always, you know. So there is a logic to that.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Greta.